All right, welcome back to another day of the self-documentation series. Starting off a little bit closer to the camera, and I'm focusing on making direct eye contact because that's something I'm trying to work on. And today, the topic that I want to talk about is something that's been on my mind always and as of late, and this is the topic of learning new things. We briefly touched on this on the last one, but I had this little idea that I wanted to share. And I was talking with my girlfriend about this tonight, and thought it was worth sharing. So let's give some context as to where this idea is coming from. In life, I'm going to go big, 30,000 foot view. In life, we are on this journey, on this path, and when we're kids and young, it's very easy for us to develop and to grow. We have not put all these limitations on ourselves yet, and we don't really fear as much what other people will think of us when we do things, and so we find it much easier to just bumble and stumble forward and make progress that way. As we get older, it gets a little bit trickier because you start to establish an identity around certain things, who you are, who you're not. You start to care more about what other people think. You start to compare yourself more to other people, and so you start to act in a rather different way, and that can lead to all sorts of things. But what I want to talk about in that capacity is our comfort zones. In New York, when you walk around, there's a bunch of sayings written on the ground in chalk. A lot of these are ads for Instagram poetry pages, but they always find you when you need them most. And my favorite to find, and there's a lot of repeats, but my favorite one to find is, your comfort zone will kill you. That's just written in a bunch of different places in New York. Your comfort zone will kill you. And I like sentences like that are short and punchy, but really get to the heart of something really true and meaningful, which is this idea that if you stay exactly where you're at, where you're comfortable, you will literally start to die. You won't feel alive anymore because you will only be doing things that are not challenging to you. They don't stretch you. They don't let you express yourself. They don't make you feel alive. And so that's kind of what the comfort zone does to you. And kind of tying that back to the idea of when we're younger, nothing's comfortable. So we're constantly in a state of growth. We're learning things. We're thrusted into new situations, whether it be new schools, new cities, new job, whatever. As we get older, those opportunities start to fade, and you can really easily get stuck in a path where there aren't easy ways for you to grow handed to you. You have to go find them for yourself. And that's when it can get very easy to get stuck in that comfort zone. And so I've been thinking about this, and I thought of an interesting kind of reframe that I think could be helpful and something I'm thinking about. Instead of trying to get out of your comfort zone, think about it more like you're trying to add things into your comfort zone. It's a slight distinction there, but it's an important one. And so one is kind of I'm running away from something, and I'm trying to escape and get out of my comfort zone, which works for sure, but can be a little bit intimidating to think about. And the other is, I am on a scavenger hunt to go and acquire things and move them inside of my comfort zone. And so here's an example that, also I love giving examples. I think when you give examples, it just makes things more real for people instead of always talking in theoreticals. One example that I'm thinking about right now is, I'm working on this kind of side project where I have created a bunch of custom race posters for marathons, because my mom always gives me a custom race poster after a marathon I'll run, which is super sweet of her. But a lot of the options on the market right now are super shitty, and the design is horrible. They didn't give a crap about the quality of it. And so I was I want to make these, but make them better. Better designed, basically, and better made, and just a smoother, seamless process. So in this journey of making these and trying to sell them, I've had to learn a lot of new things, but in a weird way, it never really felt like I was leaving my comfort zone. It was more just I was getting excited about different skills that I could add to my comfort zone. It's like bring them in house, you know? It's like, okay, right now when I think about doing this, and it could be anything, like reaching out to people, reaching out cold DMs to people, you know? Maybe that's not in my comfort zone. But instead of running away from my comfort zone, I'm going to go grab that skill set and I'm going to slide it into my comfort zone. And now that it's in my comfort zone, oh, it's something I do all the time. And there's a real power to thinking like that, because you're like, whatever I want to do, I just got to go get it and slide it in my comfort zone. And how do I actually get it and slide it? You got to do it. You got to do it a lot of times. And this was like a fun little reframe for me, and it's been helpful for me to think through this today. So I wanted to share that idea. One other kind of like wrinkle that I'll add, and I'll keep tonight's short, is, you know, I don't really think about this before I start talking. I have one little note in my phone that just says, adding things to your comfort zones. That's all it says. And then I just try to riff off that. But the last note on kind of like comfort zones, maybe you don't even have a last note. Maybe that was it. One big idea for the day. Add something to your comfort zone. Think of it as a skill that you can go and acquire. Everything's a skill. Everything's learnable. The way to learn it is to do it. You don't need permission. Give yourself permission. And don't think that other people are more capable than you. The final quote that I will leave you with, which is one of my favorites, is that there are people less qualified than you out there doing what you want to be doing just because they decided to believe in themselves. Fuck, I botched it. That was going to be so powerful. I'm going to do it again. I can't cut this. There are people out there much less qualified than you doing exactly what you want to be doing just because they decided to believe in themselves. And with that, I bid you a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.